Meet Joe. He's a luxury real estate agent in Dubai, and over the past few months, we've helped him blow up his YouTube channel and his business.
It's probably over maybe $12, $15 million worth of deals.
So in this video, we're going to explain how Joe's channel and business have changed, and I'll reveal the 3 key strategies that helped him close $15 million worth of deals, all via his YouTube funnel. Yeah, Joe, so just to kick stuff off, I just wanted to understand, or if you wouldn't mind explaining for the camera, kind of the situation that you were in before you started working with us.
So when I first came to you, I already had traction on my YouTube channel, but it was stagnant, and I felt it was never exceeding and getting to the next level, and I wasn't really targeting the right clientele. So it almost just hit a point where I felt there was a cap on the growth, and I actually started to doubt that I could take this channel further than it already did.
And in terms of revenue levels as well and deals being closed and stuff, what was it looking like?
In terms of deals that have been closed, so in the past, say, we've been working together, 8 months, 9 months now, so probably over 50 million dirhams, which is maybe $12, $15 million worth of deals since the past 8 months, 9 months, which is incredible, isn't it? Through YouTube, it's insane, really.
Were there any deals being closed beforehand, or what did the situation look like before?
Yeah, I mean, I was still closing deals, but the lead flow and the deal closure rate now is definitely far superior than what it was, basically.
What do you think has kind of helped towards that? What have been the key changes or key things that you've noticed?
Well, at first, I think we were, us and your team, we were trying to refine the types of the right target audience, which naturally doesn't just happen straight away. And I'd honestly say this last quarter has been probably the best on my YouTube channel because, we refined the type of client that we want, the right ICP, we've refined the video content and the right target persona. And now the lead flow and the types of clients that come in are way more suited to me than ever. For example, it was a bit random, in the past, not even when we started working together, even before that, it was quite random. I'd get all different budgets. No one really knew what Joe Butler did, but now it's quite clear. And, the types of clients I get now are much, more specific to what I want.
Are there any particular things that you think have helped towards that in terms of anything particularly that we've done or we've helped with?
We reverse engineer the headline, and I think it's a really smart way of thinking, whereas I might have thought of I think of good ideas, and then you guys help me, frame it and put that in a way where, it's seen to an audience, because naturally I have a good, idea about what I want to talk to, but you guys, the way that you frame and package my videos, well, you're ultimately getting it seen, because there's been times where I used to do this on my own. I have an amazing video idea. The video's awesome, but it just doesn't get seen by anyone. It might reach 300-400 views and get no leads. And, just last week we exceeded 24,000 views on one video. And last week I actually closed 3 deals. And one of the leads that I closed was within 48 hours of meeting that lead, she bought 2 properties worth $2 million.
No, no. Okay.
It gets better than that. Last week alone, we closed 3 deals in total. Basically, we closed 16.5 million dirhams worth of deals. That's approximately $4.5 million worth of deals last week.
That's a pretty fast turnaround, 48 hours to then close 2 properties worth 2 million. Is that from YouTube? Have you or how is it that that's managed to happen so fast?
I think it's reputation. This lady came to Dubai. She knew she wanted to buy property. Now, this does not happen every time. She sees my content, she booked a call, and she had the right budget on the lead questionnaire, to which I was like, okay, I want to take this call. We had a great conversation. The following day, I took her to a developer's office. She really liked the product that they were offering, and she blocked it out for 24 hours. And the following day, we go back to the developer's office, and she's like, right, I've made my decision. I want to close the deal. So we basically closed the deal on the Friday.
Amazing. Okay. And that's from basically going onto YouTube, searching your name, and that's the first thing.
Not even searching my name, but searching Dubai real estate, because I'm ranking near the top now, and the popularity of my channel is ranking high, basically.
Can I ask, because I know that before working with us, you did work with other agencies and that you did some of it on your own as well to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Have you noticed, or what would be the key differences, or have there been many differences between those other agencies or doing it yourself?
The structure of your business is pretty flawless, I've never got anything bad to say about the way things are. I mean, maybe from your end, in the back end, I'm sure there are things that go wrong. But from a customer sort of point of view, from my point of view, I know where to upload my footage. You guys are never delayed with sending me the edited footage. We never miss deadlines. The footage is always edited almost perfectly every time. Maybe there's 1 or 2 small changes. You know my style. If a video ever doesn't perform so well, it's only ever like one. And that's because maybe we've tried to experiment. Whereas previous companies, in my opinion, they've got like 4 in a row bad. And then I know that they're not very good at what they do, or they try to basically say, we know YouTube SEO and all this, when really they know about keywords and tagging, through like the most basic format.
Okay.
So yeah, I think structure and organization and the way we pick ideas apart and the one-to-one calls that we have with your team, where we kind of like, yeah, let you guys get in my head a little bit and sort of pick apart what we need to talk about. Yeah, I think that's very very powerful, and it's really worked.
And is there a difference? Because obviously I brand ourselves, we only really work with property companies. Do you notice a difference in that?
First of all, every time me and you talk, and you just you just put your helmet on and it just and then you just find a good idea and then it seems to work. So that's like the first thing. Most of the time when I'm working with other people, it's like they're just using AI to think of the titles, like, oh, and then you just know straight away, and then they script it with AI. And I have nothing wrong with AI, but like you can't like sell me on the fact that you know the product or you know how to do this, but then like you type in the same prompts as I would, and I can get the same responses from ChatGPT. It's just like basically lying to me that you know what you're doing. That's the biggest difference,
And then is that seen in the results as well, would you say, or not?
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, the results are there. The proof is in the pudding. We've far exceeded expectations this year. Well, at the start of the year, I personally could have done better, but we didn't even meet until like later towards the start of the year. Just wish we'd met earlier.
So yeah, Joe, yeah, I really appreciate the yeah. If I don't know if there's like a final, if someone were considering potentially working with us, if there's one thing you might say to them, or a piece of advice.
I think when you've got some sort of property channel and you're starting to get traction, you're going to get a lot of people reach out to you, right? I think that's the first thing. As soon as you have social media, you get a lot of people reaching out to you. I can do this. I can promise this. And quite frankly, I've tried a lot of people. I've spent a lot of money. I've wasted a lot of money. And hand on heart, I can say that, the return on investment here, it's obviously been exponential, right? It's 1000x. This is the best investment I made in my YouTube channel in my career, because, now we've far exceeded any expectations. And I think anyone who's starting out, like, this is probably the best investment that you'll make on your property channel.
Mate,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
And there's nothing more to say than that. Like, I get approached all the time by people. And to be fair, I've veered off sometimes, like, oh, maybe I should do it this way. I could do it more on my own, but always ended up, sticking by your company, and like we get the results, and that's all that matters.
Mate, honest as well, this won't go in the video. It's been a pleasure working with you as well. It's been really, really good fun. And I think one of the massive differences that I noticed between working with you and then some of the people where it hasn't worked quite as well is genuinely, I just think you're really open to listening to our ideas and then going back and forth, and like you put a lot of effort into the content as well. So I think it's genuinely, some people, they'll start and just expect results straight away when put like minimal effort into what they're doing. Whereas like anyone that we've seen just get really, really strong results, is there's always the effort in there as well. And there's like, I can actually tell in a lot of cases the people where it's going to work or not, just purely
Yeah.
the amount of communication and like effort that goes into it from their side. So yeah, I think a lot of it, I've got to put my hands up it, like, it is down to you and the content as well. So hopefully it's the good combination basically on both sides.
The types of clients that are coming in now, it's like we're getting higher and higher up the ladder. Like, the types of clients I'm talking to now on average are worth $5 to $10 million or more, and they're really trusting and seeing my channel as a credible platform where they idolize like what information I'm putting out there. So everything we're doing is working, and I'm having some very powerful conversations at the minute with some big players. So
Nice.
the only way is up, Ed.
By the way, if you're watching this video and you find yourself in a similar position to Joe, you have two options. If you want to build this exact same system yourself, you can download our YouTube property playbook in the description. It outlines the 10 steps you need to follow in order to get all of this set up. However, if you want somebody else to manage everything and just build the system for you, there is a link in the description to book a call with me, where you can send me the details about your business or your YouTube channel. If you have one, I'll do a free audit and work out whether the system is a good fit for you or not. Okay, so the things that Joe's mentioning in his videos are inconsistent views, targeting the right avatar, and inconsistent deals. So I'm going to explain exactly how we tackled each of those points. So firstly, the views were inconsistent quite simply because the packaging of the videos weren't sexy enough. In a lot of cases, it was phrased in a very technical way, which was limiting the reach of the videos. For example, this video here is very similar to this video here. However, the second video focuses less on the technical aspects and more on the benefit for the investor. And that's the mindset shift that most property channels need to make. You need to stop talking about features and topics and really focus on benefits, fears, and emotions that an investor might be feeling, because that's what's going to get them clicking. Number two, targeting the right avatar. Now, it's hard to always make your title and thumbnail laser targeted on exactly who you want to speak to, because that way they become very long and unclickable. So what we tend to do is make the packaging quite broad, but then make the messaging very consistent and very targeted within the video, and use a call to action that attracts the perfect client. For example, this is the call to action in Joe's latest video.
Now, if you're interested in understanding how we can help you in terms of renovation and redeveloping properties, then all what you need to do is book a one-to-one call with me below. So if you're a serious investor with 10 million dirhams and above to acquire the property, then we'd be more than happy to help out and walk you through exactly how we can help you from start to finish.
So with this, you're pushing the wrong people away and pulling the right people in. And that way you're not spending your time on sales calls with people that just are never going to have the budget. 3 inconsistent deals. Now, there are 2 big changes that have happened on Joe's channel that have absolutely blown up his business. So firstly, it's a sales funnel, and this is where a lot of property companies go wrong. So we need to remember that buying real estate is quite a long process. So not every viewer that's clicking on your channel and your video is going to be ready to buy now or jump on a call today. 90% of them are probably considering it, but they aren't quite ready to pull the trigger. So if the only call to action you have in your content is book a call, in the long term, you're going to lose out on a lot of potential deals, because you also need to remember that there's lots of competition in the world of real estate, particularly within Joe's market, which is Dubai. So they might love your video and love what you're saying, but because they're not quite ready to buy, they go away, they think about it, they talk to their partner, they wait 3, 6 or 9 months, and then by the time they're actually ready, they've forgotten all about you and your video. Sad, right? And then they see somebody else pop up on Instagram or YouTube and they click on their stuff and maybe they buy from them. So in order to combat this, we need to stay in touch with potential clients in a way that doesn't depend solely on the YouTube algorithm. Now, there are lots of different ways to do this, but typically within the property niche, we see people setting up WhatsApp groups or email newsletters. But you can potentially use any medium where you're able to own the media and own the control to be able to get in contact with your ideal clients when you want to. That way you can continue to provide value to them and stay on top of their mind. And that way, 3, 6 or 9 months down the line, when they are ready to buy, boom, you're there. So when you're using YouTube in the property industry, you need to remember that yes, YouTube's brilliant, it's great for attracting traffic, but we need a way to convert that traffic and stay in touch with them, because that's where a lot of the money is going to be made. Now, the second reason that Joe gets high quality leads, quite simply, is that he makes high quality content. And I'm not sure that I or the team can really take any credit for that, because a lot of that's down to Joe. He spends a long time researching the properties, the right areas to buy, pulling all the facts together and giving away all of those answers and research for free. And he often drives out to the locations to show people exactly what he's talking about, to bring everything to life. So as somebody watching the content, you can tell that effort, time, love, and care has been put into it. So then what does that say about Joe as a broker and as a person? Well, if you're sitting there watching it as a client, it would suggest that he's going to put the same level of care into his work. In other words, this is a guy that cares about delivering a high quality service. And that gives you the most important element that you need in order to close deals: credibility. Because in order to sell high ticket property deals, you need credibility and you need trust with your audience. Otherwise, your competitors, people like Joe, are going to beat you every single time. However, this doesn't just happen by chance, because in order to build credibility, come up with good ideas and go viral on YouTube, you need a system. So check out this video next, where I'm going to explain the exact 10 steps that we implement with property companies when we start working with them. Or, as I mentioned earlier, if you just want to save time and have us implement this exact same system for you, then you can use the link in the description to book a call, and I'll see you there. Cheers.